At the beginning of the movie, we hear a narration. A long time ago, in a faraway and mysterious land, the kind that now only exists in fairy tales, there lived 3 sisters. They were triplets, which drew everyone's attention whenever they accompanied their mother to the village. We then see one of the sisters fall while running. A strange old woman picks her up, takes the ribbon from her hair. Just then, the girl's mother takes her away. The old woman, her mouth covered, stares at them silently while keeping the hair ribbon in her basket. The scene then shifts to night. The 3 sisters are asleep when one of them hears a noise. She opens her eyes and sees an entity feeding on her sister's legs and suddenly looks at her. The scene cuts to the present day, where a girl named Nala jolts awake from a nightmare. Her parents rush into her room as Nala's younger sister, Luna, is suffering from a serious illness. The next day, the doctor informs Rebecca and Guillermo that Luna's chances of survival are very low. Later that night, Nala overhears her parents talking. Becca insists that they've tried every hospital and now wants to take Luna to her mother's place in her village. Guillermo initially refuses, but Rebecca eventually convinces him. The next day, they get ready to leave. Nala's strained bond with her mother is evident, as Rebecca's attention is always on Luna. As they're about to depart, their neighbor informs them that a strange illness has spread among the children in the building, making many of them sick. Fortunately, Nala and Luna haven't caught it yet. Nala, however, is unhappy about the trip and dreads visiting her grandmother, whom she hasn't seen in years.
Comment. Subscribe to Recapss Horror.
As they arrive, Nala's grandmother, Josefa, stands at the entrance to welcome them. Rebecca steps out of the car and hugs her mother. Josefa seems pleased to see the children, though it's clear she doesn't hold much warmth for Rebecca. Guillermo greets her politely, and they all head inside as Josefa mentions that her house help, Pedro, will bring in their luggage. As they enter the house, Nala notices there's no network signal, which makes her even more upset. Rebecca suggests she take Luna outside to the garden. While there, Nala spots Pedro near the pool and feels attracted towards him. When they return inside, she overhears Rebecca and Josefa talking. Josefa tells Rebecca that she never thought Rebecca would come back here. Rebecca replies that if she had a choice, she never would have. Josefa asks, "Aren't you afraid? Of what could happen?" Rebecca answers, "Of course I am, but I'll do whatever it takes for my daughter." Just then, Josefa notices Nala eavesdropping and introduces the children to Abigail, Pedro's girlfriend and the other house helper. "Pedro and Abigail," she adds, "live in a small cabin nearby." Abigail welcomes them and offers corn pudding, which the children enjoy a lot. Later at dinner, Josefa asks Guillermo if he agrees with the purpose of this trip. Rebecca quickly requests to change the subject. Guillermo replies that parents can do anything for their children and mentions the epidemic spreading among the children in their building. Fortunately, Nala and Luna haven't caught it yet. Josefa is shocked to hear about the epidemic. Later that night, Abigail visits Nala and Luna's room, bringing a dress that Josefa made for Nala. Nala dislikes it, so Abigail simply hangs it up. Luna then asks what kids do for fun around here. Abigail says that when she was little, her favorite pastime was listening to stories. Luna eagerly asks her to tell one. Abigail hesitates, saying most of them are scary. But when Luna insists, she agrees and begins. Abigail starts telling the same story we saw at the beginning, the story of the 3 sisters. A long time ago, there lived 3 sisters. While they slept at night, an evil being began to visit them. It was a witch, a very wicked witch. Witches suck children's blood to steal their youth and stay young forever. Night after night, the witch drained one sister's blood until the girl fell ill. She became weak and developed many health problems. Each night, her sisters hid a pair of scissors under the mattress, believing it would repel witches, but it was too late. The witch had already taken too much of her blood. So, in order to help the ailing triplet, her 2 sisters walked to a very distant cabin where a sorceress who came from the Caribbean lived. One of the triplets was very scared, but the other one was determined and was able to convince her. The sorceress proposed a deal. She would teach them how to make a baka, and the baka could then save their sister's life. Bakas are mythological beings that come from the darkest corners of the Caribbean. These beings make wishes come true, whatever you ask for, but in exchange, they bring evil things to the asker. That is, Bakas give you something but demand something in return. In exchange for teaching them how to make a baka and save their sister's life, the girls would ask for riches and give the riches to the sorceress. This way, the sorceress would reap the reward without the evil that came with it. Legend says that to make a baka, you have to bury an ostrich egg with the blood of a goat, a snake, and a child. Bury everything under the full moon in a special region only known to witches. The girls followed these instructions. After 6 nights of witchcraft, something was born from the egg. Luna asks, "Something?" Abigail replies, "When you make a baka, you can get a dog or a cat, sometimes a mouse, a chicken, or even a baby, but it's a baka." With the baka, the triplet got better, although she never recovered fully. The girls kept their side of the deal and gave the riches to the sorceress. But the sorceress seduced them to keep the girls as her servants, promising to teach them the secrets of dark magic. And it turned out that one of the girls, the bravest among them, was attracted to this dark magic, whereas the other girl decided to stay away from those things. Until one day, the brave girl, who was now an apprentice of dark magic, found her sick sister's ribbon. She discovered that the sorceress was the same witch who had made her sister sick to begin with, and had rejuvenated herself with her blood, and she decided she had to kill the sorceress. Just then, Rebecca enters, and Luna tells her that Abigail was telling them a scary story. Rebecca immediately warns Abigail not to tell her daughters any of those frightening village tales. She then instructs her to stay with Luna and take care of her, while Nala will go with her. Rebecca tells Nala that she and her father are leaving for a few days to find a cure for Luna, so Nala must stay behind and look after her sister. Nala protests, saying she hates staying with her grandmother. Rebecca insists they have no choice. If they don't go, Luna could die. Nala angrily shouts that everything is always about Luna, and Rebecca, upset, storms off. Later that night, in their room, Guillermo tells Rebecca they shouldn't leave their children alone like this, but Rebecca tries to convince him it's necessary. Unbeknownst to them, Josefa is secretly watching and listening. Eventually, Guillermo gives in, and as they start kissing and becoming intimate, Josefa continues to observe them silently. The next day, Rebecca and Guillermo leave, and the children are now alone with their grandmother. Josefa serves Nala meat for lunch. When Nala says she's vegetarian, Josefa mocks Rebecca's parenting and coldly remarks that there's only meat to eat in this house, nothing else. Later, Nala changes into her swimsuit and heads to the pool, only to find it dirty. Pedro tells her that the pool hasn't been used in years and offers to clean it if she wants. Just then, Josefa arrives, sends Pedro to the kitchen, and scolds Nala for not dressing properly, telling her to cover herself. That night, Nala is seen texting her father, saying she needs to talk to him. Suddenly, Josefa enters the room, and Nala quickly pretends to be asleep. Josefa walks over to Luna, murmurs a strange chant, then moves toward Nala and begins whispering over her too. Terrified, Nala stays still until Josefa leaves the room. She then rushes to lock the door from the inside and lies back down, shaken. The next morning, Nala wakes up to find Luna missing. Panicking, she searches the house and spots her grandmother calmly rocking in a chair, listening to music. Eventually, she finds Luna in the kitchen with Abigail, who offers her strawberries. Nala asks Abigail how the story of the triplets ended. Abigail hesitates, saying her mother told her not to share it, but Nala insists. Finally, Abigail agrees and continues. When they discovered that the sorceress was the same witch who had made their sister sick, one of the triplets convinced the other that they had to kill her, to avenge all the suffering she had caused. One night, they went into the witch's cabin and found her skin hidden inside a pumpkin. Witches remove their skin so they can fly, she explains. The sisters knew that salt could kill a witch, so they sprinkled salt all over her skin and placed it back inside the pumpkin just as it was. When the witch returned to her cabin, the girls waited to see if their plan would work. As the witch took her skin out of the pumpkin and began putting it on, Her whole body started to itch and burn from the inside out. Before dying, she cast the evil eye on them with her final breath, cursing them so that envy would consume them, and that would be their doom. Nala asks, "What happened afterward?" Abigail replies, "They suffered one last tragedy. When a baka gives you something, it always demands something in return. The baka took their mother's life. What could be worse than killing your own mother without even knowing?" She continues, stricken with guilt. The triplet who had refused to create the baka or practice dark magic decided to make amends. By then, the baka had grown. Killing a baka isn't easy, but she was determined and stabbed it brutally. The death of Baka made the triplets sick to the end of her days, while their mother's death created a deep rift between these two sisters, separating them forever. One of the sisters continued practicing dark magic, while the other swore never to do it again. When the villagers learned that the triplets had turned to witchcraft, they were forced to flee and go into hiding, never to be seen again. Nala curiously asks, "Does salt really kill witches?" Abigail says, "It's just a story." Just then, Josefa enters and asks if Nala told Pedro to clean the pool. When Nala says yes, Josefa criticizes her upbringing, saying, "In this house, when you want something done, you do it yourself. Go clean the pool. As long as you're here, you'll do exactly as I say." Nala is then seen cleaning the pool alone. That night, exhausted, she heads back inside, only for Josefa to suddenly appear behind her, saying coldly that she can continue tomorrow. Later, Nala places a pair of scissors under Luna's bed to ward off evil spirits. As she goes to her own bed, she hears strange noises from downstairs. Opening the fridge, she finds only raw meat inside. Her eyes then fall on a pot containing a thick green liquid. Frightened, she drops her glass. When she checks the green liquid, she finds a baka in it. Terrified, she runs to her grandmother's room and finds Josefa calmly sitting in her rocking chair. Then Nala notices a black magic setup in the corner, complete with candles, symbols, and Luna's toy placed among the ritual objects. Nearby, she spots a pumpkin. When she opens it, she finds the witch's skin inside. Suddenly, her grandmother vanishes, and as Nala looks around in panic, a hand grabs her head and pushes it into the pumpkin. Nala jolts awake. It was a nightmare. But just then, she hears a sound from Luna's side. As she looks over, she sees a witch slowly crawling toward her. It haunts her and then climbs onto the wall, crawls across the ceiling, and slips out of the window. At that moment, Luna starts struggling to breathe. Nala jolts awake again, realizing it was another dream. This time, she's truly awake. Everything seems fine until Luna gets out of bed and suddenly clutches her leg in pain before vomiting. Nala rushes to get her grandmother, who is on a call with Rebecca. Josefa lies, saying the children are playing outside and that Pedro cleaned the pool for them, then hangs up. When Nala says she wants to speak to her mother, Josefa locks the phone and orders her to clean the pool. Later, Josefa scolds Nala for Luna's condition, saying, "She was perfectly fine yesterday. What did you do to her, Mamita?" Since the day Nala arrived, Josefa has been calling her Mamita, meaning sweetheart. Sometime later, Nala talks to Abigail and asks if she thinks Josefa could be a witch, like in the story. Abigail laughs and says, "Of course not. Seems like my story scared you a bit too much." Looking for network inside the house, Nala goes upstairs and finds a signal near a closed room. She enters quietly, unaware that Josefa hears the door open. Inside, Nala tries to call her mother, but the call doesn't go through. Then her eyes fall on a photo album. She starts flipping through it just as Josefa storms in and drags her downstairs. Furious, Josefa yells, "Is there anything you do respect, Mamita?" Nala says she was just trying to find a signal to call her parents. Josefa snatches the phone from her, throws it to the ground, and smashes it. Hurt and angry, Nala storms off. Later, Nala secretly takes the photo album with her and looks through it with Luna. Inside, they find old pictures of their mother, grandmother, and great-grandmother. Just then, Josefa enters the room, and Nala quickly hides the album under the bed. Their grandmother wishes them good night and leaves. Later that night, Luna appears restless in her sleep. Nala wakes up and notices someone sitting at the corner of the bed under a blanket. She throws the blanket, but no one is there. As she gets up to check, Josepha suddenly appears, knocks Nala unconscious, and begins sucking Luna's blood. Moments later, Nala jolts awake, screaming, only to find that Luna's legs actually have bite marks and blood drawn from them. Panicked, she grabs Luna and runs out of the house. While escaping through the forest, they find witchcraft symbols and strange ritual items around them. Up ahead, Nala spots Abigail's cabin. Luna is too weak to move, so Nala tells her to wait outside while she goes for help. Inside, she's horrified to find a black magic setup and sees Pedro and Abigail engaged in a disturbing ritual, cutting each other's skin and covered in blood. Terrified, she runs back to Luna, who is now in critical condition. Just then, Josepha arrives saying, "Mamita, what have you done to your sister?" She takes Luna from her and orders Nala to fetch Luna's syringe from the kitchen, using it to stabilize Luna. Then she slaps Nala. When Nala accuses her of being a witch, Josepha grabs her by the hair and locks her inside a room under the stairs. Terrified, Nala lights a lamp and looks around. The only bulb flickers weakly. Exhausted, she lies down. Meanwhile, Josepha admires herself in the mirror, appearing younger, and marks the 4th day. Later, Pedro calls to Nala from outside, saying Abigail sent him to check on her. Nala pleads for help, saying she knows they're witches too. Pedro replies, he can't free her, but he'll watch over Luna, then leaves. The next morning, Josepha unlocks the door, her face wrapped in bandages. She orders Nala to go to the pool, where Nala finds Pedro's corpse floating. Josepha blames her, saying you asked him to clean the pool. He slipped, hit his head, and died. When the police arrive, Nala tries to tell them Josepha is a witch, but no one believes her, and they leave. Later, Josepha brings Luna to Nala. Nala is shocked to see Josepha drawing blood from Luna. When Nala demands an explanation, Josepha calmly says she's taking a blood sample. Their mother asked her to. Suddenly, the landline rings. Nala rushes to answer. It's Rebecca, but her voice is distorted. Nala tries to warn her that Josepha is a witch, but Josepha cuts the phone wire and then locks Nala up again. That night, Nala manages to break the lock and escape. She rushes to Luna's room, pulls the scissors from under the bed, and just then, Josepha appears. A violent struggle ensues. Nala stabs her leg and hits her in the face before grabbing Luna and fleeing into the forest. As they move deeper into the forest, Nala and Luna see a group of people performing a ritual. Nala spots Abigail among them and calls for help, but she doesn't respond. Nearby, Nala also notices Pedro's lifeless body. Then, an old woman pours blood onto Abigail's hands, and Abigail smears it on her face, crying before slitting her own throat. Horrified, Nala runs away in terror. Elsewhere, a masked woman performs another ritual. She's preparing to create a baka. Meanwhile, Luna's condition worsens and she collapses. The masked woman removes her mask, revealing herself as Rebecca. Soon after, the baka emerges from the egg. Nala, devastated by Luna's death, and as Rebecca wishes for Luna's life, miraculously, Luna revives. Nala carries her out of the forest, and after walking for a long time, both collapse on the roadside. Luckily, their parents arrive by the same route and rush them back to Josepha's house. When Nala opens her eyes, Josepha blows a powder over her, paralyzing her. She gently closes Nala's eyes just as Rebecca and Guillermo enter. Pretending to be worried, Josepha comforts them. Nala tries to speak, but she's unable to move or make a sound. Seeing her condition, Guillermo decides they should leave immediately. Rebecca scolds Nala to Josepha, questioning how she could take Luna alone into the woods. Josepha plays innocent, saying, "She's in adolescence. Have you forgotten what we used to do at her age?" Nala listens, helpless. After Rebecca thanks her and leaves, Josepha leans close and whispers, "Oh, Mamita, listen carefully. I will never leave Luna, not even over my dead body." She then locks Nala's door from outside. As Rebecca, Luna, and Guillermo prepare to leave, Rebecca notices bite marks on Luna's leg. Alarmed, she tells Guillermo, "If I'm not back in 5 minutes, fetch Nala and go," and rushes back inside. Inside, Josepha drinks Luna's blood, growing younger with every drop. When Rebecca enters, Josepha attacks her from behind, saying, "You took my mother from me. Now I'll keep your daughters," before knocking her unconscious. Meanwhile, Nala regains movement and realizes the door is locked. She grabs the scissors and the photo album. The photos slip out, and as she looks at them one by one, she's horrified. Rebecca and Josepha aren't mother and daughter, but sisters. She recalls Abigail's words, "Witches drink children's blood to steal their youth." The triplets who turned to witchcraft had vanished. One grew old and died. One stayed away from magic, but also aged, and one escaped. Nala realizes the one who ran away is her mother Rebecca, explaining why the children in her building fell sick, as Rebecca had been feeding on their blood to stay young. Just then, Nala's room door opens. Josepha is now young again, and looking exactly like her sister Rebecca. Meeting Nala on the stairs, she says, "I know it's been hard for you, but you've done very well. In a few weeks, Grandma will move in with us." She then tells her to hurry up and leaves. Josepha goes and sits in the car, while Nala walks to her grandmother's room, where Rebecca lies on the bed, dressed in the same clothes as Josepha, her face covered in bandages. Believing her to be Josepha, Nala stabs her to death, then sprinkles salt over her body. Smoke rises as Rebecca's body burns away. Covered in blood, Nala washes herself and puts on the dress Josepha had gifted her.
You're still watching? Good. Like, comment, and subscribe to Recapss Horror.
When she steps outside, Josepha smiles and says, "You're wearing the dress. Everything's going to be fine." They sit in the car together and drive away. Back home, a doctor examines Luna and says it's a miracle she's perfectly healthy again. Guillermo then asks about Nala. The doctor replies that he has examined her several times this week, but found nothing physically or neurologically wrong. Guillermo says, "She hasn't spoken in 4 days. Is that normal?" The doctor suggests seeing a psychologist. Later that night, while Nala sleeps, she gets her first period. Quietly, she goes to put the bedsheet in the laundry, but hears a strange noise coming from a locked door. Using a knife to open it, she accidentally cuts her hand. As she enters the room, she finds a voodoo altar and a baka inside a box. Shocked by the sight, she notices another box nearby. Inside it lies the witch's skin. Before she can process, Josepha appears before her, her body stripped of skin. Josepha grabs her hand, licks the blood from the cut made by the knife, and begins to suck it. Then, holding her tightly, she says, "The adult world is complicated and fascinating. I know you think you know a lot, but today, as you enter womanhood, is the day you'll truly begin to learn Mamita." Hearing this, Nala realizes the horrifying truth. This isn't her mother, but Josepha, and she has killed her real mother. The narration begins. What could be worse than killing your own mother without even knowing it? That was the price Baka demanded in exchange of saving Luna. Legend has it the witch's curse was fulfilled, and the two sisters who killed her got their punishment. They would live through the blood of others only to fall by their own blood, one by one, teaching their traditions to the new generations provided that they were ready to learn. Now Nala will carry this curse forward. With that, the movie ends. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the chills, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a scare. Until next time, stay spooky.